On Budget Eve, the Minister for Disability Issues has been confronted outside Parliament by a protester begging her to address the crowd about changes to disabled funding.
Even so, the government is promising more money for disability services in what will be a tight budget. Political reporter Amelia Wade has more.
They're not in school, but these kids are learning all sorts.
What else have we got here today?
Teacher in the Paddock is a different sort of education which can help children with disabilities.
We've had children who've come that have been non-verbal when they've arrived, and after a time fully conversational, just through having that space and without the pressure to have to perform.
But parents are no longer able to claim funding for programs like this if they're during school hours because of the changes to disability funding.
If what's out there now isn't meeting the needs, how does taking away what works continue to meet that need? And it's not a big ask, it's not a big cost in the scheme of things.
Funding for disabled learners is undercooked.
IHC, which represents intellectually disabled New Zealanders, agrees with the government's logic.
The Ministry of Disabled People, Whaikaha, made the changes because it says the time during school hours are the responsibility of the Ministry of Education.
Funding for what happens in schools comes out of vote education, and this situation has occurred because of the inadequacy of funding and that schools and families have got created. I would love for the budget to reflect increased funding for learning support.
My key priority areas is fixing learning support because we do not get the right service to the right child at the right time.
A small crowd took to Parliament's lawn today to protest the changes they say are cuts.
Shame!
One protester took her challenge directly to the minister.
Speak now, speak to me. Why do you need an audience?
Newshub's been told the minister wasn't invited to speak.
Budget tomorrow will see an increase in funding for disabled people through the disability support services.
So will the Ministry of Education get significant funding increase for disabled children?
Our focus is not on ministries and agencies, our focus is on the front line, and for us that means schools, early childhood centres, tertiary providers, and they can expect to see a funding uplift.
The budget's been put to bed, but it hasn't had any beauty sleep.
We've had a lot of budgets in recent years that have been style over substance. This one isn't about the photos or the slogan on the front, it's about the substance inside.
Coining her own slogan while slamming others. Amelia Wade, Newshub.
All right, well, let's bring our political editor, Jenna Lynch, in. Kia ora, Jenna. Budget day tomorrow. What are we expecting?
Cuts, cuts and more cuts, spending cuts, job cuts, all to pay for tax cuts. The promise was $25 a week to the average worker. We'll see tomorrow whether that figure has survived the deteriorating economic conditions and how they plan to pay for it. It was reliant on the foreign buyers tax that was nixed by New Zealand First in coalition negotiations. Nicola Willis said it's still funded out of spending cuts. She's found 240 programs that are ripe for the trimming and revenue. So keep your eyes peeled for a creative tax or levy increase to top up the government's coffers. They obviously won't want to put a whole heap more pressure on New Zealand businesses and households that are already doing it tough. That was the beauty of the foreign buyers tax. So it'll be interesting to see whether they can cook up something similar. They have been consulting on an increase to the tourist tax, so we'll see whether or not they have baked that into this year's budget. Also keep your eyes peeled for some coalition commitments. New Zealand First won $1 billion for Shane Jones to spread around the regions. They probably would have pushed pretty hard for that. Now the tax cuts are going to be the big bang, but I'm told that in dollar terms the spend on frontline services will actually outweigh those, and health will be the big winner, though they have been downplaying expectations around that promise to fund more cancer drugs. All will be revealed at 2 p.m. tomorrow. One more sleep.
Political editor Jenna Lynch, tēnā koe. And you can catch the Newshub Budget Special from just before 2 p.m. tomorrow. Simon Shepherd and Rebecca Wright and a panel of experts will explain what it means for your family and also have immediate reaction from politicians.